fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic of Kenya, as well as the annual report to Parliament on the state of the national security. Now, these reports were laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 25th of November, 2025. And they are part of that particular State of the Nation address. The debate or the consideration is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 24, paragraph 6, that the thanks of the House be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, President William Samoei Ruto, that was delivered in Parliament on that Thursday. So that is the priority business that the members of the National Assembly, as they convene this morning, shall be taking into consideration. This morning's sitting, as the members' debate, will be marking day 2 of the debate. And you will recall that when the President was presenting the State of the Nation address that was done in Parliament and by extension to the entire nation, the President was unequivocal in his praise for the legislators, attributing much of the progress registered since 2022 to their diligence and cooperation in executing its. And paragraph 2 indicates that if there's no quorum, then the quorum has been attained.
Order.
Allow me to hand.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Wako, on behalf of Majority Leader, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 26th November 2025, morning sitting. 21st edition of the biannual report on the status of alcohol and drug abuse control in Kenya from the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. Number 2, annual report of the victim protection for the financial year 2024-2025 from the Office of the Attorney General. Number 3, the 4th annual report on the state of public-private partnership in Kenya for the financial year 2024-2025 from the National Treasury. Number 4, annual report for the fiscal year 2024-2025 on the implementation of the Equalization Fund. And number 5, the quarterly economic and budgetary review for the financial year 2025-2026 for the period ending 30th September 2025 from the National Treasury and Economic Planning. Number 6, annual report and financial statement for the Power of Mercy Advisory Committee for the financial year 2024-2025 from the Office of the Attorney General. Number 7, status of the implementation of recommendations of the first report of the Public Investment Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture on non-compliant state corporations from the Office of Attorney General. And number 8, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2025 and the certificates therein in respect of the following constituencies. 1, Fafi. 2, Garissa Township. 3, Igembe South. 4, Kangundo. 5, Gadiani. 6, Quisero. 7, Lagdera. 8, Laikipia East. 9, Laikipia West. 10, Mara. 11, Malava. 12, Mandera West. 13, Matayos. 14, Matungulu. 15, Mavokos. 16, Runyenjes. 17, Seme. And 18, Wajir North. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I lay.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
The Honorable Kikaria, you have an ordinary question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to ask question number 81 of 2025 to the Teacher Service Commission. Could the Commission, one, explain why a section of teachers within Nakuru Town East and Nakuru Town West sub-counties were not paid their enhanced house allowance between July and December 2019, particularly those from Tumaini House Secondary School, Uhuru Secondary School, Crater View Secondary School, Mogon Secondary School, Nakuru Boys Secondary School, Nakuru Girls Secondary School, and Upper Hill Secondary School. Second, Honorable Speaker, provide a list of the affected teachers in the aforementioned schools and indicate the status of payment of the enhanced house allowances up to June 2025. And lastly, number 3, Honorable Speaker, state when the affected teachers will be paid the outstanding enhanced allowances for the said period. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The question will be replied to by the Departmental Committee on Education. Can we have an undertaking from the committee to confirm when we will have the answer? Is there a member of the committee here? Okay. Honorable Tonkei? It will be replied before the committee. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then the next question is by the member Umulkhair Harun. She has asked for a deferral of the question. It's all right. It's all right. You cannot direct the speaker. Sorry, Madam Speaker. Yeah, so let's move to statements, because the other question is deferred. There is a request for a statement by Honorable Daniel Kiritho, member for Igembe Central. Are you here? Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I request for a statement regarding the non-payment of salaries to chiefs and assistant chiefs in Igembe Central constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 442C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the non-payment of salaries to chiefs and assistant chiefs serving in Igembe Central constituency. Honorable Speaker, the following public officers who are appointed and are actively serving in their respective administrative units since 13th August 2024 have not received their salaries or remunerations since appointment. Mr. Shandak Mwambia, Chief, Adero Yena Location. Mr. Elias Mwenda, Assistant Chief, Ndabero Sublocation. Mr. Rafael Ndichu, Assistant Chief, Kanjo Sublocation. Mr. Jeremiah Madeta, Assistant Chief, Liburu Sublocation. Mr. Stephen Kimadi Geteye, Assistant Chief, Liliaba Sublocation. And Mr. William Mugambi Manyara, Assistant Chief, Laikumukum Sublocation. Honorable Speaker, these officers have been diligently discharging the administrative duties, maintaining law and order, and serving the people of Igembe Central faithfully. However, it is deeply concerning that for more than 1 year, they have not received their salaries. This situation is demoralizing, unjust, and contrary to fair labor practices, as guaranteed under Article 41 of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Reasons for the delay in processing and payment of their salaries of the aforementioned chiefs and assistant chiefs. Clarification on whether these officers have been formally captioned in the integrated personal payroll database. Measures that the ministry is taking to ensure that these officers are paid all their dues without further delay, and the steps being taken to prevent the recurrence of such delays in future appointments within the administration cadre. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No, today we. Okay, I think I'll okay, but make it brief.
I thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to add my voice to the statement sought by my colleague from Igembe. The same situation appears to be applying in Bonchari. We have 4 officers serving in the same ministry for a long time without their pay. And these are Robin Nyamanya Bundi, Ombadi Mokwa Evans, Benjamin Opanga, and Elphys Moemi Onyancha. So as the minister addresses the issue of South Igembe, I would like for the same to be done for Bonchari with respect to these officers who've been serving without pay. I thank you.
Honorable Nyamai.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance to also make a comment on this matter of chiefs and assistant chiefs. As the Honorable Karido has said, we have chiefs. I will avoid mentioning their names, Honorable Speaker, for ethical reasons, but in Motomo we have 2 chiefs, a chief and an assistant chief who have been serving and they have not been paid for the last 1 year. Also, the assistant chief for Makaye, an assistant chief in Nekanga, 6 of them, Honorable Speaker, in my constituency. It becomes very difficult because these people have children, they do not have food, it has not rained in my constituency for the last 3 years, and it is extremely difficult to continue working without pay. We can wait for operationalization of the new administrative units, but for those who have already been hired, we are now calling upon the ministry to make sure that these people are being paid. So as they serve justice to the constituents of the Honorable Karido, I would like to also ask that they serve justice to the chiefs and assistant chiefs in Kitui South. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. This will be dealt with by the Committee on Administration and Internal Security. Honorable Russell.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would really like to have a consolidated list from even the other 2 colleagues. Because I think this issue appears to be rampant, we want to address it directly with the ministry, and we respond to the House in 1 week's time.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Marakwet West, you have a request for a statement. Honourable Timothy Toroitich.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 442C to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the allocation and disbursement of Transitional Infrastructure Grant, TIG funds to learning institutions. Honourable Speaker, the TIG funds is a government initiative program managed by the Ministry of Education intended to support infrastructural developments in schools. Its objective is to address the infrastructural gaps in schools to accommodate the increasing student population following the implementation of the competency-based education, that is CBE curriculum, and the transition policy guaranteeing 100% transition of learners from primary to secondary education. However, several projects initiated by the Ministry of Education under the TIG program in Marakwet West constituency have stalled, leaving incomplete structures and disrupting learning in the affected schools. Additionally, the criteria and procedure used by the Ministry of Education in allocating and disbursing TIG funds to learning institutions remain unclear to stakeholders, raising concerns about equity, transparency, and accountability in the distribution of these funds. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education the following. 1, a report detailing the learning institutions that have received TIG allocations from financial year 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25 across all sub-counties in the country. Number 2, the legal, policy, or administrative framework guiding the said allocations and disbursements. Number 3, plans the Ministry of Education has put in place to ensure that the stalled projects that were initiated are completed, including expected timelines for completion. And 4, measures the Minister has put in place to ensure fair, transparent, and equitable distribution of TIG funds in learning institutions across different counties and constituencies. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tonke, you want to give an undertaking on behalf of the Education Committee? When will it be responded to?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We will respond in 2 weeks.
I think it better be 1 week because of recess. Yes. And Honorable Toroitich,
But Honorable Speaker, looking at the calendar, we are going for recess on Thursday. So I don't think it will be possible for us to respond to that statement before Thursday. Honorable Speaker, you all know what is happening right now. Yeah, on Thursday there'll be by-elections and all that. So we undertake to respond after 2 weeks, or unless the member appears before the committee, so that we can respond in the committee session. Thank you.
And Honorable Toroitich, if I'm not wrong, I think you've asked this question before, isn't it? You made the request for a statement on this before.
Honorable Speaker, it's a different question. The other question was about SECIP. This one is about TIG funds. Honorable Speaker, whereas I respect the sentiments by Honorable Tonke, Honorable Speaker, this is a very serious issue. Remember, under the current CB program, we need more classrooms. There are many pending projects under the TIG funds that remain incomplete in our institutions. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, if the CS can appear before the committee on Tuesday, I'm ready to appear so that I put across the sentiments to the committee and to the ministry. So, Honorable Speaker, Thursday next week would be fair for the response.
I hope you have noted that, Honorable Tonke. There's a request for a statement by the Honorable Member for Starehe, Honorable Amos Mwago. Is he here? Okay, we'll defer it. And then there's another question by the member for North Hor, Honorable Wario. May proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I raise to request for a settlement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands regarding the prolonged delay in the registration of Torbi Bubisa community land. Honorable Speaker, Section 6 and 7 of the Community Land Act, Cap 287, clearly outline the legal procedures for registration of community land. On 25th September 2024, the Turbi Bubisa community, located in Northern Constituency, Marsabit County, undertook all the necessary steps in relation to recognition of their community land, including constitution of the Community Land Management Committee, holding of public participation forums, mapping and demarcation of their ancestral land, and submission of Form CLA1 for the recognition and registration of the community land to the Ministry of Lands. Despite this, the community is still yet to receive its title deed from the Registrar of Lands. This undue delay not only exposes the community to land insecurity and potential encroachment and development, but also undermines the spirit and the intent of Community Land Act, which was enacted to protect the land rights of pastoralists and indigenous communities across the country. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that a request for a settlement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands on the following. Reasons for the delayed registration of Trobi Bubisa community land by the Ministry of Lands. Timelines within which the ministry will complete the registration process and issue the title deed to the Trobi Bubisa community. And finally, measures and policies the ministry has put in place to ensure timely processing of requests for community land across the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That statement will be responded to by the Committee on Lands. Is there a member of the Lands Committee here? Yes. You want to give an undertaking on behalf of the committee?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Probably we'll give feedback in another 2 weeks' time. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we have a request for a statement by the member for Nyaribari Chache, Honorable Zahir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think there was a bit of a confusion this morning. I'm not supposed to do a statement. I'm supposed to raise a question. So I think I will defy it. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable, next one is the Honorable Member for Sabatia, Honorable Clement Sloya. Honorable Naomi Wako, you wanted to say something first? Hold on, Honorable Clement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Putting into consideration the number of days and months that Honorable Clement's lawyer has been out because of health issues, as 13th Parliament, we thank God that he's back. And he has been very active and participating in different ways, but because of health matters, he has been away. We thank God that he's back, and I also want to thank the members who have stood with him as we welcome him, and also his constituents, because they have been very understanding. So welcome back. We are happy to have you back, and we thank God that you have recovered. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Clement's lawyer. We will proceed. Yes. Request for a statement.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 42C, I rise to request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the Lunyerere Bridge along the Kisumu-Kakamega Highway. Honorable Speaker, the Lunyerere Bridge serves as a critical link for residents of Vihiga, Kakamega, and Kisumu counties and surrounding regions, facilitating the daily movement of passengers, goods, and services. However, the bridge is narrow, lacks adequate safety guardrails, and is poorly illuminated. As a result, it has increasingly become a black spot. Several lives have been lost over the years, with vehicles and motorcycles frequently plunging into the river when motorists lose control due to heavy rains or during periods of low visibility. The recurring loss of lives and property therefore calls for urgent intervention regarding the bridge's structural design and width. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, immediate measures and long-term interventions being taken by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to enhance the safety of motorists and pedestrians on Lunyerere Bridge along the Kisumu-Kakamega Highway. 2, plans, if any, to expand the bridge to meet the required safety and traffic standards, including the expected timelines for commencement and completion. And 3, the immediate plans the ministry has to install guardrails, reflective signage, road markings, and proper lighting to enhance the safety of motorists and pedestrians on Lunyerere Bridge. I thank you.
This will be marked to the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. Is there a member of the committee to give an undertaking on behalf of the committee? Yes, Honorable Sahir.
Honorable Speaker, we will do something about it, respond to it. Thank you. Maybe 1 week. Thank you.
Thank you. There is also a request for a statement by the Honorable Joyce Kamene, member for Machakos County. Just walked in on time. Give her the mic.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to make a request for a statement regarding compensation of victims of the 1999 train accident. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Transport and Infrastructure regarding compensation of Mr. Stephen Mboya Mutiso, a survivor of the 1999 train accident. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Stephen Mboya Mutiso of ID number 5090070 and a resident of Kaiwa in Kadhiani constituency, Machakos County, was involved in a tragic train accident on 24th March 1999 while traveling from Nairobi to Mombasa. The accident, which occurred when the train derailed in Tsavo National Park, claimed 32 lives and left more than 100 passengers injured. Mr. Stephen Mboya sustained serious injuries and was admitted to Kenyatta National Hospital for 8 months. Following his discharge, he has continued to attend monthly medical clinics. Tragically, his mother, the late Ngondu Mutio Musembi, was among those who lost their lives in the accident. The Kenya Railway Corporation undertook to cater for the burial expenses for the deceased persons and to assist with medical bills for the injured victims. Despite these assurances, the victims of these families have not received any compensation to date for the losses, injuries, and expenses incurred as a result of the accident. The prolonged lack of compensation by the Kenya Railway Corporation has caused immense financial hardship and distress for Mr. Stephen Mboya, who continued to face expense of medical care linked to the injuries sustained during the accident. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Transport and Infrastructure for the following. An update on whether Kenya Railway Corporation has compensated any victim of the 1999 train accident, and if so, an explanation to why Mr. Stephen Mboya Mutiso is yet to receive payment for the hospital bills incurred and burial cost of his late mother. The second, a clear indication of the timelines within which Kenya Railway Corporation intends to settle the outstanding dues occurred to Mr. Stephen Mboya Mutiso and any other deserving cases. And finally, the measures put in place to provide mental health support and regular psychological checkups for the survivors and the train accident to help them cope with the psychological trauma resulting from the incident. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Will be dealt with by the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. Zahir, you want to give an undertaking?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, the committee will do a response within 2 weeks' time for both, whatever it is. Thank you.
Okay, we also have a request for a statement by the Honourable Member for Nandi Hills, Honourable Kitur.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the poor road design of Mombasa-Malindi Highway, specifically Katzengo area. Honorable Speaker, the Mombasa-Malindi Highway is a key route that serves the coastal region, facilitating the transportation of goods and passengers and fostering trade and tourism. However, the highway, particularly the section at Katzengo, lack critical road safety features, including properly designed speed bumps, clear road markings, and substandard signage. This has exposed motorists and other road users to safety risks. Since the completion of the road, multiple accidents on the road have been attributed to the poor design of the road, especially the absence of visible road markings and signage. In fact, on 10th of April 2025, a 25-year-old Mr. Hezron Kiprotich of ID number 38317443 lost his life in a road accident at Katzengo area. Road users have raised concerns severally about missing signages and lack of traffic safety infrastructure, yet remedial action has not been taken to date. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. Number one, plans by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to install proper signages and additional safety interventions, such as reflective road lighting in the Katzengo section to reduce the risk of accidents along the Mombasa-Malindi Highway. Second is the expected timelines for completion of the installations of these road safety measures and design corrections. And finally, I wish to know what are the plans by the ministry to compensate the family of the late Mr. Hezron Kiprotich, and as well the measures that are put in place to support victims of accidents caused by poor road infrastructure. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That will also be responded to by the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. Honorable Zahir.
Honorable Speaker, we will respond within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a request for a statement by the Honorable Mohammed Ado, member for Wajir South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife regarding the unlawful relocation of 2 orphaned Somali or reticulated giraffes from Wajir County. Honorable Speaker, 2 orphaned giraffes were being cared for and protected by members of the local community and conservation volunteers in Wajir County were recently relocated from their natural habitat by the Kenya Wildlife Service without any local community involvement, in total disregard of established conservation principles, community rights, and the spirit of devolution. Such actions by the KWS undermine public trust, alienate local stakeholders, and threaten the sustainability of community-led conservation efforts across northern Kenya. Conservation must be anchored on transparency, accountability, meaningful community participation, and must not be imposed from above. Honorable Speaker, communities in arid and semi-arid regions have consistently demonstrated exceptional commitment to wildlife protection, often at a great sacrifice. It's therefore incumbent upon the national government and its agencies to uphold the principles of partnership and consultation in all conservation undertakings. Policy and administrative measures must ensure that the community must consent and participation are mandatory prerequisites for any wildlife relocation on conservation intervention. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife on the following: a report on the relocation of the 2 Somali giraffes from Wajir County and a clear timeline for their return to their natural habitat. Number 2, measures being taken to ensure transparency and accountability in KWS decisions regarding wildlife translocation, including disclosure of any private entities involved in this particular case, and also measures being taken to establish an inclusive framework for wildlife management that recognizes community partnership, participation, and equitable benefit sharing. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That will be dealt with by the Committee on Tourism and Wildlife. Is there a member of that committee here? Okay. Honorable Wako, you want to give an undertaking?
Yes, Chair. Yes, Honorable Speaker, I will make sure that the Chair will respond to this as early as possible because it needs some serious attention. Thank you.
And before we proceed, I'd like to recognize the presence of members of the ACK Church Kirinyaga Parish from Kirinyaga Central Constituency, Kirinyaga County. They are seated in the public gallery. On behalf of the National Assembly, we welcome you to the National Assembly. Thank you. Honorable Oundo, you have a statement, request for a statement?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for indulgence. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provision of Standing Order 442C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor regarding the reported assault of a Kenyan worker by a foreign national at the TCA Mabati factory in Eldoret. Honorable Speaker, one Andrew Tabu Kagwa Waliera, hold of ID number 32422230, and a resident of Sibinga sublocation, Nambuku location in Funyula constituency, was captured on video being violently assaulted, demeaned and threatened by his Chinese supervisor, Mr. Shi Zinding. This repressive act, now in the public domain, has sparked widespread outrage and raised serious concerns about the treatment of Kenyan workers by certain foreign employers operating in our country. Honorable Speaker, the victim is currently in poor health, nursing serious injuries sustained during the assault. He has been unable to resume his duties effectively and, shockingly, is now reportedly facing threats of dismissal from employment. Even more worrying is the allegation that he was coerced into recording a video with his assailant purporting to forgive him, an act clearly aimed at repressing the truth and obstructing justice. This matter goes beyond an isolated case of assault. It touches on the dignity of Kenyan workers, the sovereignty of our labor laws, and the responsibility of the state to protect citizens from abuse, intimidation, and unlawful treatment within their place of work. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor on the following. A, lawful action being taken against the Chinese national, Mr. Xi Jinping, in accordance with the provision of the Kenyan labor, migration, and criminal laws. Steps B, or 2 steps being initiated to ensure adequate compensation and medical support for the victim, Mr. Andrew Kagwa Waliera, for the injuries, trauma, and economic losses he has suffered. And 3, the immediate and long-term measures the government is putting in place to prevent the recurrence of such assaults, mistreatment, violation of Kenyan workers by foreign employers, and to guarantee a safe, dignified, and lawful working environment for all employees. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. That will be forwarded to the committee, the Labour Committee. Anybody from the Labour Committee to give an undertaking? Honorable Wako, then.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'll talk to the chair so that they respond before we go on recess.
Thank you. Now we go to responses to statements. We'll start with the Honourable Member for North Horr, Honourable Warrior. Statement. Who's responding? Honourable Raso, you're the one responding? Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Northern Constituency, Honorable Ade Wario, has requested to be apprised of the plight of internally displaced persons in Marsabit County. The Honorable Member sought to be informed, plans to expedite and conclude the process of resettlement to the specific measures being implemented to restore and sustain long-lasting security and peace in Marsabit County. Honorable Speaker, Marsabit County has internally displaced people arising from 2017 to 2021 conflict. Consequently, the CS for Interior and National Administration has formed IDPs committee chaired by the county commissioner. Other members of the committee include the county government members, members of parliament, and the committee has the following terms of reference. Profile of internally displaced persons who are displaced from their existing homes and farms. Make appropriate recommendation on how the problems of IDPs can be resolved. Honorable Speaker, the following measures have been taken. 1, formation of a county peace committee. 2, all political activities which are geared towards community animosity and divisions have been banned. 3, intensify both mobile and foot patrols, particularly in vulnerable and high-risk areas. 4, establishing temporary checkpoints along key route and access point to monitor movement and intercept any highway criminal activities, enhance surveillance, and ensure a quick police response. And 5, revitalization of community policing committees to strengthen collaboration between law enforcement agencies and local communities. And 5, community engagement and public sensitization through public barasas and consultative forums to sensitize residents. Signed by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Honorable Waria, are you satisfied? Do you have anything to say?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, I would like to appreciate the response by Honorable Dido Raso, who also comes from the from the county and also affected by the plight of the IDPs. I wish to make it clear to this August House that the profiling of IDPs was done between 2022 and 2023. Since then, no action has been taken in order to resettle, rehabilitate, and compensate the IDPs. So in the statement, what I failed to realize is I made it very clear that we wanted to understand where this process has reached. In terms of timeline, unfortunately, in the statement, no mention of resettlement, what action has been taken in terms of compensation has been mentioned in the statement. More so, the settlement has not also given timeline on when these IDPs will be resettled. So basically, the statement is generic, is unsatisfactory, and doesn't meet the aspirations of the communities who have been affected by the conflict in Marsabit. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I think, Honorable Raso, your committee then you have to send back the request for clarification from the ministry.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I come from that area, and I'm fully versed with what Honorable colleague there is stressing. One thing we must appreciate from this government, today there is peace in Marsabit. But from 2017 up to the general election, we were fighting, and there was apparent absence of government. And today, the reason of us talking about this is because there is peace. Secondly, the government has gone further to form committee and also peace committee, so that there must be.
Honorable Raso, you are now holding brief for the ministry. I think all we need is your confirmation that you will seek the 3 clarifications that he wants.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Well guided.
Okay, there's another response also to another question by the member for insecurity in North Hall. Honorable Raso, you have the response?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Northern Constituency, Honorable Adewaria, was requested to be apprised of the status of insecurity in Northern Constituency. The Honorable Member sought to be informed, 1, status of investigation into attacks against constituents of Northern, particularly in Shur, Awaye, Balesbura, Basic, Sarimo, and Korka. 2, the long-term measures being implemented to restore and sustain long-lasting security and peace. Honorable Speaker, the following incidents were reported in Northern Constituency in the recent past. 1 is livestock theft within Korka sublocation. On 1st March 2024, it was reported at Northern Police Station that Gabra herders who were grazing in Dololo Ade area could not account for their 46 camels. The same was booked in OB 080103-2024. The police officers joined the herders in the search. They later established that the camels had crossed into Loyangalan sub-county through Moite, an area predominantly inhabited by the Turkana community. Subsequently, security and peace committees from both Northern and Loyangalan convened a meeting with Turkana elders, urging them to engage their kinsmen to release the stolen camels. The meeting yielded positive result, leading to surrender of 27 camels and 4 calves at Gas ASTU camp, which were later handed over to their rightful owners. However, the Turkana elders maintained that the Gabra community had overstated the number of missing camels. A team of officers led by the sub-county police commander visited the scene and established that there were approximately 20 suspected armed Turkana bandits who had raided Agabra Manyata at around 0100 hours, where they stole 464 goats and sheep, killed one camel and injured another, which were approximately valued at 3 million. The stolen livestock were driven towards the Dakar area of Loyangalan sub-county, and subsequently a joint multi-agency security operation was mounted in the Moite area, leading to recovery of 142 goats and sheep. Thereafter, there was a reconciliatory peace meeting led by the Northern Sub-County Security Intelligence Committee. The Sub-County Security and Intelligence Committee has confirmed that Sarimo area, which is within Chargulo's sub-location of Northern location, remains a security hotspot owing to its expansive grazing fields and a single major water point contested by the Gabra and Turkana communities. Madam Speaker, the other incident reported is theft of livestock in Shur area. On 25 November 2024, a report was made at Shur Police Post. 150 camels were stolen and one person fatally injured. The report was booked by OB 02-25-11-2024. Police officers, with the support of local residents, recovered all the stolen camels and returned them to their rightful owners. The third is in security incidents in Balesbura and Bisik areas. On 6 September 2025, a banditry attack occurred in Balesbura and Bisik location within Marsabit North Sub-County, resulting in the fatal injury of 3 Gabra pastoralists and serious injury to 1 person in the Dambala Badana area. Following the incident, an inquest file 04-2025 was opened, and chiefs from both Marsabit North and Loyangalan sub-counties recorded their statement. Insecurity within Loyangalan sub-county. Honorable Speaker, on 13 October 2025, a report was made at Loyangalani Police Station by Epus Lichochi that suspected Gabra bandits had attacked and fatally injured a herder at one of water wells within gas location of Northern Sub-County. The incident was booked in OB. The deceased body was later interned in Loyangalani, followed a postmortem. On 19 October 2025, suspected Turkana bandits, in what is believed to be a retaliatory attack, shot and killed Guyo Elema Halake while he was herding cattle in Milima Siriko in gas location, Northern Sub-County. The long-term measures being implemented to restore security within the area. 1, STU camp at gas continue to enhance security within hotspot areas. 2, security agencies are sustaining continuous disarmament operation targeting illegal possession of firearms. 3, recruiting National Police Reservists to complement the police in the fight against banditry. 4, revitalization of community policing forums. And 5, facilitating sustained dialogue between communities through regular meetings aimed at fostering mutual understanding. Signed by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. I beg to respond, Honorable Speaker.
Member for North Horr, do you have any?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The incidences of attack reported by the ministry are just a few among many others which were inflicted on the peace-loving people of North Horr. According to the report issued on 1 March 2024, a total of 46 camels were stolen. Out of these, 27 camels and 4 calves were later surrendered to their owners. The attackers were reported that 32 camels entered their territory, against the 45 reported by the community. While 4 died, and 2 were killed by hyenas. However, the figures do not add up, revealing their clear contradictions. The 4 camels reportedly died while in the hands of the aggressors, and therefore compensation is required. The key question remains, what plans does the government have regarding the 13 missing camels? Honorable Speaker, on 2nd October 2024, it was reported that Turkana herders attacked Gabra satellite camps, stealing 464 sheep and goats, killing 1 camel and injuring another. According to the response by the ministry, only 142 shots, that are sheep and goats, out of 464 were recovered, leaving 322 still in the hands of the aggressors. Therefore, I'm seeking answers on when the remaining livestock will be recovered and returned to the rightful owners. Honorable Speaker, on 6th September 2025, heavily armed militia ambushed Gabra herders, killing 3 innocent herders instantly and injuring 1, who remains hospitalized and still not out of danger. 81 days after this incident, no arrests have been made yet. In a country governed by the rule of law, this raises serious questions about justice and accountability. Despite consistent intelligence reports and warning of impending attacks, the security apparatus has repeatedly failed to avert the losses. Honorable Speaker, on 13th of October 2025, it was reported that suspected Gabra herders attacked and fatally injured a Turkana herder at a Wano water point. However, Wano is located deep inside Northern constituency, raising a serious question about why the victim had traveled so far deep into the area without the knowledge of the Gabra herders. This unusual movement suggests that the victim may have been on a serious mission. Furthermore, no evidence has been presented to prove that the Gabra herders were responsible for the killing, because there's no reported incidences of attack on that particular day.
What's your point of order, Honorable?
The honorable member, I don't know whether he's in order to continue reading while he's not giving a statement. He's supposed to be debating and refer to the notes, but I think he's reading the statement. I don't know whether he's in order.
Okay, take that into consideration, Honorable Wario. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I think I gave my statements long ago, and that's why the honorable member was able to respond. And I'm just giving, facts about the irregularities within the statement, which was presented by the committee chair. Honorable Speaker, attacks on Gabra herders still is ongoing. 1st November 2025, according to the book OB number 10-1, 11-2025, an attack on Gabra herders in Sibiloi area were reported, killing 1 herder, Jilo Kuni Golbo, age 30 years, injuring 2 others, Mr. Roba Kuni Golbo and Abudo Yatani Wario, age 25 years. And the attackers stole 420 goats. Also, on 2nd of November, the following day, an incident occurred, booked OB 092, 11-2025, the heavily armed Turkana militia attacked Gabra herders, killing 1 person.
Wario, maybe the best thing is to...
I'm just finished. I finished, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Yes.
But you'd do yourself good if you gave it to the committee, those
Okay.
incidences, because you have more incidences than what the minister has provided,
Yes.
so that you seek bring it to their attention.
So basically, looking at the number of livestock that has been stolen, those has been recovered, we still have a deficit of 1,355 sheep and goats, 40 donkeys, 28 camels, cattle, and 13 camels, which have not been returned yet. While the police have reported some have been recovered, but still in the hands of the aggressors. So I would like to know when this livestock will be recovered, returned to the rightful owners, and what measures will be put in place so that these attacks will not continue on that corridor. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
As you seek clarification from the ministry, I think you can take that into account.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Although you stopped me last time, I come from the area. I'm a member for SACU representing Marsabit. in this August Assembly. Currently, in Marsabit, the major problem is within an arc between Mount Kulal and Lake Turkana. It is a kind of to and fro attacks among the pastoralist community. I will get more details from Honorable colleague and will share it with the ministry. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you. And then the next response, again, is, I think you're going to be on your feet today. Again, Honorable Russell, to the request for a statement by Honorable Esther Passaris, member for Nairobi County.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the member for Nairobi County, Honorable Esther Passaris, requested to be apprised of a video clip that had been circulating on social media alleging a confession to rape by Pastor James Nganga. The Honorable colleagues sought to be informed, 1, measures being undertaken by DCI to authenticate and investigate the circulating video. 2, the mechanism in place to identify, locate, and protect survivors of sexual violence. 3, the plans by the government to regulate, monitor, and curb the misuse of artificial intelligence. Honorable Speaker, a video clip that circulated online in early October 2025, purportedly showing Pastor James Nganga confessing that in his youth, he and 7 other men participated in the gang rape of a woman. The clip went viral and sparked widespread public outrage. The DCI investigation launched inquiries into the matter. Pastor Nganga was subsequently summoned. He appeared before DCI in Nairobi on 15th October 2025 and recorded a statement. In his account, Pastor Nganga clarified that during a crusade held at Maili Tatu, Meru in September 2025, he had shared a personal testimony about his life, including his time in prison and the reason for his incarceration. He explained that the reference to a gang rape incident was a fictitious illustration drawn by stories shared by inmates, intended to emphasize that God can redeem anyone regardless of their past. An exhibit memo form has been prepared requesting the Communication Authority of Kenya to download and preserve the video clip from the provided link, determine whether it was AI generated or digitally manipulated, to certify the clip and furnish a forensic report. Meanwhile, the investigating officers in the process of identifying the congregants who attended the Maili Tatu crusade with a view to interviewing them to obtain further investigative leads. Honorable Speaker, investigations are ongoing with forensic digital result and intelligence analysis being awaited to aid in determining the authenticity of the clip. Upon receipt of the forensic report, the inquiry file will be forwarded to ODPP for perusal and appropriate advice. 2, mechanism in place to identify, locate, and protect survivors. Honorable Speaker, the NPS, through the DCI, has established mechanism to identify, trace, and protect survivors of sexual violence. 1, gender and children protection units are operational at county and sub-county levels. 2, the DCI collaborates with medical, psychosocial, and legal support services providers to ensure survivors receive comprehensive care and protection. 3, in cases involving online circulation of sensitive or explicit content, the Cybercrime and Digital Forensic Unit works with the Communication Authority of Kenya and social media platform. 3, survivors are referred to gender officers, counselors, and partner agencies for trauma counseling. And 5, the government continues to strengthen multi-agency coordination to ensure safety, privacy, and dignity of the survivors. Honorable Speaker, plans by the government to regulate, monitor, and curb misuse of AI and other digital technologies. One, the recent assent by President to key legislation, including the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Amendment Bill 2024, has strengthened the legal framework. Two, recognizing that rapidly advancing digital tools, including generative AI, deepfakes, automated boots, and still editing software can be weaponized. Honorable Speaker, it is within the sovereign responsibility of any state to institute appropriate measures to differentiate its citizen from non-citizen. Honorable Speaker, given this fact, it will therefore be accurate. This is to do with, I think, the Nubian community in terms of within, I think, the statement sought, there was the issue of discrimination of some of the Kenyan communities. And this is what the minister responded. Given this fact, it will therefore be not accurate to assert that members of the Nubian community have been denied recognition as Kenyan citizens. Madam Speaker, the government remains fully committed to promoting inclusion, equity, and fairness for all communities in Kenya through ongoing reforms in registration, identity management processes, signed by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, Cabinet Secretary for Interior. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to respond.
Very much, Chair. The Honorable Passaris, do you have specific clarifications to seek on this one?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as you're aware, we've just started the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So I rise with absolute concern about the escalating dangers faced by women, girls in our country. And that is what brought about the statement that I was seeking. The events of the past week, Madam Speaker, I want to bring this to your attention. The events of the past week has shown us that we are not dealing with isolated incidents when it comes to gender-based violence. It's a pattern. It's a pattern of violence, neglect, and institutional failure. Honorable Speaker, the matter involving Pastor James Nganga generated intense national debate. When the video circulated, the pastor came out immediately. He addressed it, reacted to it, and in many ways acknowledged the clip while making further remarks, some directed at me personally. But this is not about personalities. It's about whether the incident he described, whether many years ago or recently, involved harm to a woman whose story remains unknown. Violence does not lose its gravity with time. A possible survivor or her family may be living with unanswered questions. If nothing happened, the public needs clarity, grounded in professional investigations. What the chair has just told me in the response. Madam Speaker, do you know we have what is appearing in textbook, in structures in government, but not the reality on the ground. I mean, this country needs something like Magufuli style or Karisa Maitha, where you just take the bull by the horn and do something about it. Just this week, there's been a disturbing TikTok video of teenage boys harassing women in broad daylight, grabbing them, slapping them, dragging them, schoolgirls into videos without their consent. Why? Because they're looking for likes. That is sexual harassment. What are we doing about it? Madam Speaker, as I said, we are in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. There is Rita Mweni, Roysambu, Starlet Wahu, South B, Mary Wangui, Kasarani, Christine Soeta, Kakamega, Brenda, an MKU student in Thika, Irene Ayemba, and then there's Abigail. Abigail, here in Kasarani. Now I want you to listen to this because you always interrogate Interior, okay? When Abigail's mother called recently and asked, what is the status of the investigation on my daughter? This is what the police told her. Wait, we have other cases. And then here you're telling me that we have structures and we are doing what is necessary, we are giving counseling, we're investigating. No, we are failing. Okay? Honorable Speaker, no parent should have to hear that, wait, we have other cases. It is a reflection that the system is overstretched, it's under-resourced, and at times lacking in compassion. The Models Association have come to me and said they work in fear. They walk in fear. And I will be arranging for them during this period of 16 days of activism, not by bringing a question here anymore, but by taking them to the PS of Interior, to the DIG and the DCI. I have actually spoken to the DCI personally and told him, we need a human heart, we need compassion, we need to do something more than just say this is a case or a file.
Honorable Passaris, eh?
No, Madam Speaker.
I'm being magnanimous, eh?
Yes.
Because you started with talking about the 16 days of activism.
Yes.
But I would like you to specifically go to this matter that you had raised.
Yes.
So that the chair, if you are satisfied by the response that has been given, specifically on this one.
Yeah, but Madam Speaker, when it comes to this one, Pastor Nganga had already went to the DCI. He recorded questions. They're coming back to me on whether the AI clip is even for me, it's a bit ridiculous to tell me that we're still going to investigate whether it's AI or not. It is not AI. And now you're also going to the church to look at the congregants who listened. Pastor Nganga has owned up to this clip. So that is telling me you're wasting a lot of time. Get to the details, all right? There is a woman out there. Probably she died. Probably she bore a child. Probably she got HIV, right? You're not telling me how you're going to identify in that area where the rape was concerned. Was there a reported case? Can you reach out? I've seen America solve cases with forensic. 30 years passed. What are we doing? Where is our forensics working? Is it working? And then when it comes to Pastor Nganga, do you know, I want to say, it is not when you seek forgiveness from God, right? It's more than just becoming a reformed person. It is also going and making peace with those people that you wronged. And if he wants, we should find the victim. And we should actually come out clearly that rape is not right. Madam Speaker, I want to take you to what's going on in South Africa today. Because it's so important. It will happen in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, South Africa recorded this year alone 5,475 femicide cases. And now it's been declared a national disaster. We don't want to head there, but we are almost heading there. And we're heading there because there are files like that one of Abigail, right? And this one of the victim who was gang raped 8 times. I want you to imagine this. Gang raped by 8 women, left there lying like a dog. Those were his exact words. And you're coming here and telling me you're still concerned about the AI video? Get it real. It's not about the AI video. The AI video coming and clarifying to me that the AI video is actually an original, and the church members have said this and said that, find me the survivor. Find me justice for the survivor. Tell me what happened with this case. There must have been a patient in a hospital. There must have been a police case reported. There might have been a dead body. You can look at your records over 10 years. Where is the forensics? We should be able to solve these cases. These files of women who have been raped and killed in Kenya, and I've mentioned the names, they're gathering dust. The police are too busy. They have no compassion. They are bribed by perpetrators, and nobody is getting justice. So this was one case that you could have run with, but here you are interviewing the people who had the clip. That is not the case. The case is about the survivor. Tell me what you're doing about the survivor. You have not responded to me about the survivor. Abigail's case, they said they have no reagents to do the DNA with the chief prime suspect who was arrested, probably released and out at large to rape his next victim.
Thank you, Honorable
Madam
Passaris.
Speaker, this is serious.
Honorable Passaris, we fully understand that this is a serious matter. Chair, would you like to make a comment on this? Do you have specific timelines? Do the police have the ability? Do they have the financing that is needed? Do they have the tools that are needed? And are there any timelines that you are going to give the Honorable Passaris?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to thank Honorable Passaris, first of all, for raising this particular matter. And indeed, if we must take this country serious, any crime by anybody, it doesn't matter at what level they operate in this country. Nobody is above the law. And Pastor Nganga, whoever he is, I don't know him, he must be a personality who is known. He cannot take raping of a woman as a joke. And that is why the DCI had to call him. But the issue why AI came into the picture in this particular matter is honorable colleague wanted to find out if this was actually an AI or it is a true thing that this gentleman talked from the pulpit. And that is why sometimes when you raise questions in Parliament, please don't try to mix things. Let us call a spade a spade. Was Pastor Nganga involved in this rape? If he is, then he must be pulled through to the end, including even prosecuting him. Indeed, he also confirms that he was incarcerated, he was jailed. Would it be on the same or on some other issues? On some other issues?
Chair, Chair, let us be specific. You are telling us what the DCI should do. You are the chair. Of course, in the absence of the chair, you are the chair. So when are these activities that you're indicating, when is it going to be done? Do you have timelines so that we can close this?
Madam Speaker, I'm not emotional about this matter. What I am about is facts. Honorable colleague, if she has more information on this matter, let her raise it so that we put DCI to question, including even someone
Honorable
to
Passaris.
Parliament.
Order. Honorable Passaris, you cannot, the chair is trying to respond to you, but you're also screaming. You know, do not do that. I've given you adequate time to raise your question. You have actually gone ahead and explained. I also let you do it, so let us give some 2 minutes to the chair, and that will be the closing remarks. Chair, be specific so that we can close this.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, just on this particular case, as a committee, we are going to summon the DCI. This could not be just the case. This could just be one of them, so that he explains to us what they are doing about this matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So in 7 days, so that we have timelines for this work, 7 days. Thank you very much. Next order. What is out of order, Honorable Member for Makueni constituency, Honorable Suzanne Kiamba?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have been sitting here listening to responses for statements. Honorable Speaker, I'm very disturbed because I gave a statement on 13th March to the Chairman of Housing. I've risen on a point of order 2 times on this floor of the House. Honorable Speaker, I have not gotten any response. Honorable Speaker, I'm wondering, who should follow up? I've followed up in the table office everywhere, and I've not gotten a response. And this question, I was asking the chairman on behalf of Kenyans and on behalf of my constituencies. Honorable Speaker, what would be the way forward? Thank you. Way forward on getting a response, which I've asked on 13th March, and I've stood on the floor of the House on point of order twice, and ever since I've not gotten any response. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Well, are you a member of Housing Committee? And would you like to respond on that? You are sure that you have the response? Because I wanted to find out you do not have? Okay, where is the chair? And the chair is here. Thank you very much, Chair, for being in the House. Would you like to respond to this? 9 months down the line, the Honorable Susan Kiamba has not received a response on a statement that she sought on the 13th of March. And today we are going to end of November, end of the year. What is your response? In a minute, please.
Madam Speaker, I wish to request
for time. You remember, Madam Speaker, when that question was raised, we went for recess, and of course we had organized to come and give a reply. And then the minister has not done a good report on it, so we're still requesting, I will still request for probably 1 week so that I can respond to it.
Okay, from March to now, fair enough, review your documents and give a response in, you said 1 week. So be it. Thank you. Next order. Before we go to that, Honorable Rahim Dawood. Honorable Rahim. Honorable Suzanne, so that we move to the next business. The chair said that you're going to get a response in 7 days, in a week.
Speaker, you know we are closing the session, and now you have ordered in 1 week. So I think, am I being assumed, because now it is, we passed 3 sessions, and now you have said within a week I should be answered. Will it be online, or how will I be answered? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Suzanne, for your information, we still have a week in this house, and this is a house of records, and the chair has made a commitment that you will get your response in the next 1 week. So 1 week, good enough, and have you accepted? You accepted, so thank you. Honorable Dawood?
Madam Speaker, I want to do for the President's speech, that's why.
Very much. Next order.
Order number 8, the Local Content Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide a framework to regulate local content in Kenya, to promote the local industry, provide the sourcing of locally produced goods and services, and for connected purposes. Order number 9, motion, debate on the President's address, second allotted day.
To move this country from a third world into a first world, the Singapore of this world. I would like to specifically look at on the issue of infrastructure fund. That fund will be the injection that has been required and has been lacking for us to be able to develop. Looking at the proposal that will come to this house, setting an infrastructure fund of about 5 trillion Kenya shillings will actually spur economic development in this country. It will actually be an investment to our roads. It will be an investment to our railway system. It will be an investment to our airports, which I dare say is like the ancient, the 19th century airports, looking at other international airports outside the world. It will be an injection to making sure this country is food sufficient in terms of spending money on mega irrigation schemes and mega dams. It will be an injection to make sure that agriculture, which is actually the backbone of this country, can both rely on rain-fed agriculture as well as on the irrigation system. So the speech in itself, and I would like to call this house, let us support the President's agenda so that we create this fund. And the funds are there. If you look at what we are borrowing in China, we are all actually borrowing from the savings from the pensioners in China. We are actually borrowing from the savings from the pensioners in Europe. We are actually borrowing from the savings from the pensioners in the United States. Why don't we use the same system to borrow from internally? Like if you look at what the NSSF has been able to save, if you look at what the other pension schemes have been able to save, if we create a fund which is well managed, which those resources can be invested for purposes of developing this country will gain a lot in terms of using our own source to be able, instead of going and borrowing. Secondly, we have parastatals that are dear to us, but all of us know government is very poor when it comes to doing business. So there is no reason why we should have these parastatals that have no strategic component in their functions. The only thing is that they practice what we call commercial activities. And even if they have to be regulated, there are bodies that can regulate business. We don't have to do business ourselves, like selling oils or selling bundles in Safaricom for us to be able to have that strategic component. So it is very important that, given this bill that will come up for the infrastructure fund, we look at the entirety of our parastatals and the need to be able to streamline them, the need to give the private sector to be able to do business. And I believe if we are going to look at these parastatals, we shall be able to get enough funds, about 1 trillion, that we can bump into the infrastructure fund for purposes of developing the infrastructure that is needed in this country. Secondly, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation, or a wealthy nation is a healthy nation. If you look at the reforms that are coming up in SHA, and the strategies the government has put to make sure that all the indigents are registered, all of us should come together to make sure that all Kenyans, whichever they are registered and become members of SHA, so that finally we can be able to offer universal free health care system. And whenever you have a free health care system, we shall create, because if there is something that causes poverty in this country, is whereby a situation whereby your relative is sick and you have to cover around 2 million, and the only thing you are forced is to sell your assets so that you can be able to offer that treatment. If that can be brought to a stop, we have a working free healthcare system. It will save this country. So I support the president in his State of the Nation address, and we shall make sure that all the...
Thank you. The Honorable Robert Mbui, member for Kaviani.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to also make a contribution on the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. Madam Speaker, first I want to say it's very important to note that there are specific things that the President is supposed to address, and that is a report on the measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of national values and principles of governance. He's also supposed to deal with the issue of the progress made in fulfilling international obligations of this republic, and then also the state of national security. So it's very specific. Madam Speaker, unfortunately, the President is very good at making speeches. When he came here, he had those long, drawn-out speeches that he's normally good at, which unfortunately went beyond what is expected in law. And being an excellent marketer, then I saw that people were excited that what he was doing was maybe the right thing. But I want to say it is very specific. Our Constitution is very specific on the things that he's supposed to have been doing. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that the President did tell us that we are doing well. But then I want to say that you don't tell people that they are doing well. You cannot go and tell your neighbor you're doing well. The neighbor must be able to feel it. You know, parents are unable to put food on the table. Parents are unable to take their children to school and pay school fees. Unemployment is at an all-time high. I don't know how then you can tell us that we are doing better. And the reason we are unable to feed our families, Madam Speaker, is because we have less disposable income. Because in the 3 years that this regime has been in power, salaries of Kenyans have gone down 6 times. 6 times. So we have less disposable income. We are unable to feed our people. But then we are being told here that we are doing better. The country is doing better. We are much better off. It's very unfortunate. Now, the only thing I can say, I can give this regime is that they're very good at cash handouts. They've been going all over the place. I don't know, public empowerment. In campaigns, we are seeing them dishing out, handouts. But you cannot develop a country. You cannot move a country to the first world with cash handouts. Now, I want to go specific to the issues that are supposed to be addressed by the President. On the values and principles of good governance. That is Article 10. And I'll start with one, which is transparency and accountability. The president did cite Singapore. The reason Singapore has reached where it has is because of integrity, is because of transparency, is because of accountability. I don't know whether this regime is being run in those terms. Madam Speaker, I want to point out that Singapore is corruption-free. Is Kenya corruption-free? I will not even bother to answer that question. Every Kenyan knows. Now, you cannot begin to tell us we are going to be like Singapore when corruption is the order of the day. Madam Speaker, in terms of transparency, you know that the law is very clear about borrowing. The public debt must also be contained and controlled by this House. But this regime, Madam Speaker, has been borrowing and has been borrowing from under our noses. And members are aware, but they ignore. Because when you hear something called securitization, Madam Speaker, for all intents and purposes, the last time I had the majority leader challenge me, I want to challenge him to read the definition. And the word loan is actually used to define securitization because you're taking money in advance for road maintenance levy fund. The money that people will pay fuel 10 years from now is already being spent now. That is a loan. So I want to say that this is not transparent. We are borrowing beyond what we should borrow because we are hiding. Now, Madam Speaker, the second one is public participation. You know that's a value that this country must, as espoused in the values and principles. Public participation, whenever we are passing any law, we are supposed to go to the public. You remember when we were passing the finance bill, Kenyans said no to so many things. When an impeachment motion was brought here against the former deputy president, Kenyans said so much. But this regime ignored, and members of this House also ignored what people said. That is what is supposed to be respected. Human dignity, Madam Speaker, is one of the values. How can you say we have human dignity when you see what happened? New York Times did give a report that Kenyans are actually being traded as slaves out there. And it is benefiting a few individuals. And you're telling us we're going to first world? How do you go to first world when your citizens are slaves in other people's countries? Madam Speaker, the issue of human rights is also another value. How can we say we are respecting human rights? And the president didn't even talk about it. How many Kenyans were killed in 2023, 2024? How many young Kenyans were shot? The president himself gave orders, shoot on the leg. And you're saying we are respecting human rights? I'm talking about the values that are here, that are espoused in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Madam Speaker, the issue of regional balance.
The Honorable Yegon. The Honorable Yegon, member for Bomet East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for also giving me this opportunity to contribute on the State of the Nation address by the President last week. Madam Speaker, thank you. I would also like to contribute and put into context a few points I have, which the President touched on. The issue of SHA, which have registered immensely around 27 million people. And this one, it has shot up 3 times from the 9,000, which the former NHIF had registered. And NHIF was not servicing our people the way this SHA is doing now. So this shows that what the President is doing is taking the country in the right direction. Employment of teachers, which has never happened before, where 76,000 have so far been employed, and another 24,000 is due to be employed next year, early next year. This will bring to a total of 100,000 the number of teachers employed by this regime. In a combination of maybe around 3 or 4 regimes, it has never happened this much. This is showing that the President has got a good plan for this country and also for the people of this great nation. When it comes to housing, you have seen the robust infrastructure building of the affordable housing, where it has culminated in employing so many young people in this great nation. Over 300 individuals have so far been employed by this administration because of the plans of the President. He mentioned all that, and This is what is in the public domain, and we cannot deny all that. The infrastructure which is going on across the country, Madam Speaker, this, if you check on across the whole country, the president is doing the right thing by trying to unite the country. There is no place which is saying that I didn't get vote in this area. You go across the country, infrastructure is going on, new tarmac roads, the electricity is going on. Another thing is the issue of dams. He talked about the rain-fed agriculture, which has been going on for a long time. He's now going for us to harvest water by creating a lot of dams, which he mentioned in the State of the Nation address. And these dams is going to help in a very great way in irrigating the farms in the areas where there is no rains, and thus increasing the production of food and giving security to the food, the agricultural basket. We have seen also the issue of the Kenyan currency. Kenya shilling has stabilized at 129 against the strong currencies like the US dollar, thus giving the confidence to the people who are doing business in this country because of the stabilization of the currency. There is no fluctuation of the currency, thus giving confidence to the people who are doing business in this country. There is also the ESP markets, which he has decided to do across all the counties in this great nation. It is happening in every constituency, and this is going to go a long way in helping our business, young business ladies and gentlemen and everybody coming from our counties, which is going to protect them and give them security and protect them from the harsh weathers like the rains, when always they are doing on the sides of the road. I want to beg and say I support the presidential address last week, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Honorable Barto, Professor Barto, member for Moiben.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me also join my colleagues to make my contribution in the presidential speech. Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for the bold initiative he has taken to transform Kenya. Madam Speaker, let me start with the education sector. All along, we had been graduating students, or our young people have not, our system of education has been generating people who are not employable. And as a result of transforming the education system from 844 to CBC is going to go a long way in making young people who are able to do what they study, who are able to employ themselves. And I say congratulations to the President. Madam Speaker, the funding model, our universities have been going down. So many years we have had lecturers, students in the streets. Universities are not able to pay. They are not able to carry on with their programs because of scarcity of resources. Madam Speaker, the transformation of the education system and the funding model has enabled the universities to go back and concentrate on what they know how to do better, and that is transforming young people and transferring knowledge to our young Kenyans. And I'm sure in future it will go down history that all those people who are going through our education system will not be carrying envelopes, brown envelopes in the streets looking for jobs, but they'll be busy because they'll be job creators, they'll be entrepreneurs, and so many other activities. We'll not be finding them in the streets demonstrating, going on mandamanos, because they will be busy in building the nation. Madam Speaker, I come from Uasin Gishu, the breadbasket of Kenya in terms of agriculture. The support the farmers have received, the subsidy the subsidy of fertilizer, Madam Speaker, has enabled the region to, for the record, this time, there is a bumper harvest in maize, and I'm sure the price of unga will go down. And building the capacity of farmers, enabling them even to divest and go to other crops like coffee, is something which my people of Uasin Gishu now are appreciating. And I know in future, it will improve the economy of that region. Not to mention the infrastructure, the road infrastructure, Madam Speaker. A case in point is the Rironi-Malaba Road. Last year, during the festive season, travelers got stranded in between Naivasha and Nakuru, to an extent that some children they decided to start playing soccer because of the traffic grid. The vehicles were stuck for 72 hours. They were not moving back or forth, and it reached a stage when they decided, I think the children got tired, and then they decided to just entertain themselves and play soccer. That is, dueling that road from Rironi to Malaba, Madam Speaker, is a masterstroke, and it is going to enable us, or enable travelers, move with ease. A case in point also is my own constituency, Muibin. All along, we have had roads which had been in bad state for a very long time. They had been earmarked for tarmacking. They had been budgeting and rebudgeting, and no movement, nothing happens. But Madam Speaker, I can tell you for now, my people are very happy because the Tachasis Chebiemit Road is going to be tarmacked. The Kaplogoi Birika Road is going to be tarmacked. The famous of Pande Road, which is the only, which is a road in town, in the city of Eldoret, it's a Maram Road, is going to be tarmacked. Cabernes, Koisagat Road is going to be tarmacked. And I'm just giving a few examples in my...
The Honorable Parashina Sakimba, member for Kajiado South. The Honorable Victor Koech, member for Chepalungu. Is the Honorable member in the House? You're in the House? Yes. Oh, please proceed. Are you ready for the President's speech, or you are on a different matter?
Give me 10 minutes.
All right.
Kindly.
No problem. The Honorable Kadhambi Chepkwony. The Honorable Kadhambi Chepkwony.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity for me to contribute in relation with his able President's speech last week. Madam Speaker, last week, President came in this Parliament and he told us a story that sometimes back, he went in this country, he sold this manifesto, he requested for Kenyans to vote for him, they voted for him, and he has changed this country. Madam Speaker, as I stand here today, I want to congratulate His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for what he has done in this country. Madam Speaker, being a member of Parliament in Ijoro constituency in Nakuru County, what His Excellency has done in this country, we really appreciate. He has touched many lives as he has done a lot of work in different corners of this country. Madam Speaker, there is no Kenyan in this country who has not seen the affordable houses in this country, which are changing lives of Kenyans. Madam Speaker, we are also happy that we are seeing the first time when women can have good places for their works. We have seen market in this country. And Madam Speaker, as I stand here today, I'm one of the beneficiary member of Parliament, having 3 markets in my constituency which are ongoing. We cannot forget the wrongs which are happening in every corner of this country. We had a challenge, Madam Speaker, where the contractors had ran away from the roads, but they are now back because the same president has made sure that there's allocation of funds and we are seeing a lot of works going on. We cannot forget, Madam Speaker, one of the success stories Excellency the President has done in this country. We have seen employment of the teachers almost now turning to almost 100,000, Madam Speaker. We cannot forget, Madam Speaker, the life-changing of the TVET for youths in this country. We really appreciate, and I'm saying that because I'm talking as a model in Nakuru County, that one of my big TVET, which was launched by the President last year, July, has really transformed. We had around 200 youths. Today, I'm having around 2,500. And I'm expecting next year, I might be having around 5,000. And Madam Speaker, in relation with affordable housing, it will be a story in the future that Joro constituency, Madam Speaker, will be having affordable housing, which has been advertised already. Madam Speaker, we cannot forget to tell His Excellency a lot of thanks and congratulations. Today, Madam Speaker, 10,000 youths, our sons and daughters, are going to be our police officers. And Madam Speaker, we are expecting the security to be more better since we are going to have those youths being employed. We cannot forget to thank His Excellency the President in relation with our farmers who are really celebrating in our rural areas, where they have gotten affordable fertilizers half price, Madam Speaker. And I'm speaking this because I've seen we have gotten high production of food and food product in different corners of this country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know His Excellency the President has a lot of plans for this country. And Madam Speaker, I know we have challenges when it comes to the electricity. And we have a lot of expectations. Though in our respective constituencies, we have some programs ongoing. We really expect that, Madam Speaker, soon and very soon, the Minister of Energy, Madam Speaker, will now look for more funds for people to benefit in matters of electricity. And in relation to that, Madam Speaker, we cannot also forget to appreciate our community health promoters who are doing great work in our different parts of this country. We really appreciate. But above all, Madam Speaker, what we can never forget about the President, he has united this country. He has brought every person to be part of the government. Therefore, Madam Speaker, in that relation, we want to say that he has become the champion of peace in this country. Therefore, we want to pray for the President. We want to appreciate what he has done. And Madam Speaker, we cannot shy away to say that he deserves another term. We want to pray for him, to pray for this nation, and may God bless this country and bless our President. God bless everyone, and thank you very much.
The Honorable Victor Koech, member for Chepalungu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity as well to contribute to the presidential speech, which is a requirement by the Constitution and provided for by our standing orders. Honorable Speaker, while the President was here to address the nation on the progress that we've made as a country, and equally to give us remedies going future on what we can do as a country so that we can make progress, he highlighted 4 priorities. Among them, Honorable Speaker, is education, transport. He also talked about logistical issues. The President as well talked about energy and irrigation. Honorable Speaker, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, to achieve this, he clearly stated that he wasn't able to do this in his first year, in his second year, because first he had to do the first things, which is to recover our economy, which, Honorable Speaker, all Kenyans, including ourselves, are able to see that the economy of our country has improved. That is witnessed by stability of our dollar against the Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, equally, the inflation rate in our country has come down considerably. That is a clear indication that the economy of our country is now improving and moving towards the right direction. Honorable Speaker, going into energy, and on October around 25th thereabout, the Ministry of Energy, through the Kenya Power and KenGen, announced
a new peak demand for our power, which is a clear indication that we are doing poorly and we should generate more. I am happy that this House recently, like 2 weeks ago, we passed a recommendation by the Committee of Energy to remove the moratorium that was actually not doing good, and Kenya Power was not able to enter into any new IPP. Neither EPRA was able to issue any license for generation. Honorable Speaker, if we want to invite investors and anyone who want to participate in industry or industrial works, if we want to invite investors and to attract investors to our country, then we should have cheap and very reliable energy. The way to go, Honorable Speaker, is to attract more IPPs and to issue more licenses so that generation can pick up. Honorable Speaker, on the issues that the President touched on this House,
I rise today also to give my remarks on the State of the Nation address by His Excellency, the President. Madam Speaker, it's good to acknowledge that the address is the economy of our nation was undergoing pressure and citizens are demanding relief. And honestly, Madam Speaker speaking, it is good to stand on what His Excellency was able to speak about. It is about the biggest achievement that we are able to see is a program that he has on the 5 trillion national transformation agenda, focusing on infrastructure, energy, and even irrigation. As we given last year, we were able to see certain kinds of roads which were able to be restarted again. And the roads are able to connect our regions from different regions in this country, which is commendable, giving us a surety on even, there are stalled projects that were not done since 2023, but now they are ongoing. and his program on the 5 trillion, many people are talking and saying, is it possible with faith and plans which have been set aside, a clear indication that those things are going to be achievable. Today, if you want to go to talk about the issue of energy, we have even to the rural areas. For example, in Kajiado South, rural areas have been, through REREC, we are able to benefit in electricity, which we need also to appreciate. In terms of infrastructure, there's a road that connects us, Taveta and Kajiado. It's also ongoing. The road has not been started for many governments which are there before, but through the president, that road is ongoing. I also comment on the issue of the new establishment of State Department for Research and Innovation. For any modern growth of an economy or a country to be in a modern competitive, not only in the region but in the entire world, then you can never do without research. And His Excellency the President, having started that one, is a clear indication that our economy is not only doing on what is in paperwork, but again, many things have been done on research on the same. And it has come out very clear that physical discipline is the key importance in the growth of a country. We have taken a little time, people complaining about there are not seeing circulation of money in the economy, but today we can able to say we are able to move without borrowing as it used to be before. The proposed expansion of healthcare, basically towards the cancer patient, from 550,000 to 800,000. This is Kenyans have received it in a very happy mood. And the people asking themselves, if today a cancer patient can be able to access 800,000, people can now get their life back at stage 1 and stage 2 of the cancer. So we wish you also, it came clearly during the presidential address. We need also to understand and see the boost and how he's handling the issue of agriculture in the speech. And irrigation is the key way to go. I don't want just to mention my constituency or the regions we come from, but a lot of irrigation projects are ongoing. And at the end of the day, you'll see with the issue of the rains that we cannot able to decide when the rain can rain, then irrigation is the only way to establish and stabilize an issue to do with agriculture. Madam Speaker, it is upon this House now to able to do their oversight role. Under Article 95 of our Constitution, that enable us to hold the executive into account. The President has already said, as I conclude, but something needs to be done on our oversight role. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The only issue that I just wanted to emphasize is the issue of comparing Kenya with Asia and Singapore. What we need to know that we might not be there today or tomorrow.
Thank you. The Honorable Yusuf Mohammed, member for Wajir West. In the absence of that honorable member, the Honorable Julius Meli, member for Tinderet and Chair Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise this morning to contribute to the President's address to the nation, which is actually a constitutional requirement specifically put forward by the drafters and Kenyans that each and every year the head of state is going to address the nation on the pertinent issues that are running across the country, and more importantly, on the state of the nation in terms of progress made, in terms of the national security, and more importantly, on international obligations that the Republic has entered into. Honorable Speaker, the President's address was one of its kind. It was an address that, that gave us the vision. It shows courage. And it was actually an address that was giving the direction under which Kenya has come from and where we want to go. Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker, the President address actually looked on 4 main issues. And to look on those particular issues, it looked at Kenya before, earlier on during the independence period, the progress we have achieved, and more importantly, what we have done today. Madam Speaker, the issues raised by the speech, and more importantly, the President, were very, very particular, trying to address one, that when we got independence as a republic, our founding fathers stated that the 3 main ills that we suffered were actually poverty, illness, and illiteracy. To look at it in brief, because those are the main issues that are still afflicting us up to today. We actually looked into what we have done in 3 or 2 years on the largest transformation of the healthcare. A healthy nation, Madam Speaker, you know very well, is a nation that is going to prosper. When the people are healthy, when the people are actually accessing medical services, which are actually enabling them, their children, their families, and all of us, it will actually mean a working nation. A nation that has poor medical services. And I want to say this because earlier on, we've been having the National Health Insurance Fund, which has been having about 6 million Kenyans. Today, through SHA, over 26 million Kenyans can access medical care and even medical services through the 3 levels of the Social Health Insurance Fund, the critical medical insurance, and more importantly, the other aspect of ICT. Madam Speaker, you'll realize that with improved healthcare, many families, many homes, and many Kenyans will be able to fight the common ills that are afflicting our society today. And that one, Kenya government, and more importantly, the government of Kenya Kwanza, has realized a lot on that particular front. 2, Madam Speaker, the issue of financial management, and more importantly, trying to lift Kenyans, thousands of Kenyans out of poverty. One of the things that leaders have tried, and which many of them have lacked, is courage to do most of these very important things. Madam Speaker, I want to point out to members of the House and the nation that we always keep pointing out the miracle that has happened in China, Southeast Asia, in Singapore, and many nations. That miracle didn't happen because of, that miracle happened because the leaders of those countries, like 1978, what Deng Xiaoping did, and how trying to lift China from a third world country to a modern nation where every country is trying to emulate today, it was because of matters of courage. Singapore and many Southeast Asian nations we keep pointing is a result of what their leaders did. The president has shown a lot of vision, a lot of intent, and we as a House, and we as the leaders of this nation, we need to support him through the housing program, the irrigation program that will enable us to feed our nation, and will also assist us to make sure that even the dams that we are going to have is going to make sure that we have water in our homes and in our...
I'll give him a minute, please.
It will enable Kenyans access clean water. And clean water is going to enable those families will be able to, all these water-related diseases will not be there. A country that cannot feed itself will actually not stand before community of nations. And you've seen this year, out of very good fertilizer subsidy, out of very good agribusiness where the young men are moving around, we are able now to have almost 70 million bags of maize. Madam Speaker, all this is as a result of visionary and courageous steps the government has taken. Even the savings, the infrastructure fund, that is going to make sure that we have the much needed roads that are going to run across our country. All this, many pessimistic Kenyans will say this is not possible. But the housing problem is seen in every village. The hostels we have in our colleges, the programs that we have in education on CBC and the universities, even the funding program that we have in the universities, is actually good. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want that this is a speech of its kind. Thank you, and I support this.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Samuel Atandi, member for Lego Soga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to give my views on the State of the Nation address by the President, His Excellency the President. Madam Speaker, let me begin by saying that I am in full support of the State of the Nation address as contained in a 30-page document, which is before the House. Madam Speaker, from page 1 to page 30, the President has outlined some of the most important successes of this regime, which range from the success in the agricultural performance of the economy, the investments in the health sector, which is giving us results, the investments in the energy sector, the investments in the housing and infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, the President was able to outline some of the most critical areas and the performance of the economy, which we fully support. Honorable Speaker, I just want to make a few comments on some areas which I thought were very, very important. Honorable Speaker, a country cannot survive without sufficient investment in food security. And Honorable Speaker, if you read this report, you will see that there have been deliberate efforts, towards ensuring that the country is food secure. And Honorable Speaker, the investments in the fertilizer subsidy is one of the most unique strategies that were implemented by this regime, away from what was there before, which was basically food subsidies. The previous regime spent more resources in food subsidies, but this regime decided to invest in production. And this has really given us results. Honorable Speaker, we cannot create jobs and expand the economy in the area of industrialization if we do not invest in the energy sector. Therefore, to this end, the President gave us a very clear roadmap towards ensuring that the country has sufficient energy, which in turn will be able to help us industrialize quickly. Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to mention something on public debt. And Honorable Speaker, some people are saying that the new strategies which the government has employed, which includes finding new ways of raising capital for our investments, such as securitization. Some people are saying, Honorable Speaker, that these are illegal undertakings. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to correct those people by saying, for example, Honorable Speaker, that something like securitization of fuel levy, which is the one that is being questioned more. This is a program, Honorable Speaker, where private investors are themselves coming in to give the government resources in an arrangement where fuel levy, a portion of fuel levy will be used to fund them later. This is something which you cannot do if there are no sufficient legal safeguards. Because a private investor is, first of all, keen that the resources they're putting in a program, they will be able to recover those resources. So for some members of parliament to articulate that this is an illegal program, I think this is really defeatist. And I think it shows how narrow-minded some of our colleagues are, especially when they are approaching, questioning some of these programs in a manner suggests that they are actually, thinking tribally. They are thinking tribally. They are not thinking about the impact of some of these programs to the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, there are so many contractors who were stalled. They were stalled for years. They went to court. They were even, they went to court and court awarded them some serious claims. Now, if you look at these serious claims vis-a-vis this program and the interest that we are going to pay for the resources we are getting now, it is not comparable, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to stand here and say that there is no illegal borrowing program that the government is engaging in. These programs are not, these are resources that are coming from people, investors, private people, who have looked at the legal regime around them, and that's why they have developed confidence to be able to put their resources into these programs. Honorable Speaker, Kenya is one of the largest economies in Africa. We are actually number 6, after South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria. Honorable Speaker, I know we have our neighbors like Kenya, like Tanzania and Uganda. But let me point out, Honorable Speaker, that these are not our peers. Our peers are elsewhere. So when you are looking at making comparisons about the performance of Kenya's economy and our sisters in the region, you cannot do that. Because for example,
Tim, have 1 minute, please.
Thank you,
1 minute, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, for example, the size of Kenya's economy. Our GDP is 4 times that of Tanzania and 5 times that of Uganda. So when you are, looking at the growth of our economy vis-a-vis these ones in the region, please make comparisons to South Africa, to Nigeria, to Egypt. Then you will see that if you make comparisons, the growth of those economies vis-a-vis our economy, we are actually doing better than our peers. So I saw some member, Honorable Speaker, claiming that, our peers are doing better than us. These are not our peers. Our peers are the countries I've mentioned to you. We are number 6 in Africa. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, Kenya is on the right track. Kenya is making very good, positive progress. And I want to thank the President for being bold. Some of these programs which the President is implementing, Honorable Speaker, you really have to be bold to do them. If you are a coward, you'll never do it.
Thank you. Your minute is over. The Honorable Timothy Toroitich, member for Marakwet West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving an opportunity to contribute on the President's State of the Nation address. Honorable Speaker, the President made the address pursuant to Article 132 of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, the address was made in Parliament because this is the House that has the elected representatives of the people. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, he was talking to Kenyans through the members of Parliament who are seated in this chamber. Honorable Speaker, the speech of the President in my assessment was reassuring. I have read paragraph to paragraph, from paragraph 1 to paragraph 163. Honorable Speaker, Napoleon Bonaparte once said that a leader is a dealer in hope. William Ruto, our President, is a dealer in hope. He has reassured this country that he will work so hard to take this country from a third world country to a first world country. Honorable Speaker, I have no doubt, as a leader in this country, that the direction that he has taken, through the support of Parliament and the people of Kenya, this country will rise. Honorable Speaker, this President has shown a lot of confidence under pressure. Remember, the economy of this country was almost collapsing when William Ruto took power. Honorable Speaker, as we speak, our economy has grown as evidenced by the speech that he gave. Honorable Speaker, he summed it up under paragraph 17, and he said, quote unquote, it can be done. I also believe as a leader that whatever the mind perceives, it shall be achieved. Honorable Speaker, if you look at education, for example, this government so far in the last 3 years has employed 76,000 teachers. We are projecting that in next year, we shall employ 100,000 teachers. Having that, the governor has planned that next year, January, they shall employ extra 24,000 teachers, making it 100,000. Honorable Speaker, insofar as matters to do with education, I am happy that the President recognized the contribution of CDF, the Constituency Development Fund, insofar as infrastructure is concerned. Honorable Speaker, in the speech, he clearly captured that 23,000 classrooms have been built and 1,600 laboratories have been built under CDF. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, by the mere fact that the President recognized CDF means he has the good intentions, and we believe that the courts will give a favorable ruling insofar as the matter that is in court is concerned. Honorable Speaker, in matters of TVET, under the speech, the President noted that in 2022, we had 341,000 enrollment of TVET learners in our institutions. But this year, 2024, we have 718,000. That is a double, the number is double, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, insofar as our roads are concerned, for me personally, the Mau Summit Road that connects to Eldoret to Malava. Honorable Speaker, for me, that is a major milestone that, as a leader, I appreciate the President for the same. Honorable Speaker, in matters of housing, if you look at institutional housing, I was asking myself, at what point would we get money to build houses for our institutions? Honorable Speaker, this government has tried, and so far we have several houses that are being built in our institutions. Honorable Speaker, the SHA factor. SHA, as we speak, 27 million Kenyans have registered under SHA and therefore are getting those medical benefits. Honorable Speaker, the only two issues that were left out. We have 20,000 teacher interns who need to be confirmed. I believe that those teachers will be confirmed. Final, Honorable Speaker, as a House, the government has done a lot. Our role as oversight as a House must be enhanced. There are so many projects, housing, ESP markets, that have not taken off. Some have collapsed. Honorable Speaker, as a House, we must be able to oversight. And I've always said that the best way to assist the government.
I would like to, honorable members, allow me to purposively go to the Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi, member for Westlands. I request the other three ahead of him to be patient.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to contribute to this speech of the President. Madam Speaker, Honorable William Ruto, the President of Kenya, is a man on a mission. Madam Speaker, I say that because President William Ruto recognized that in Nairobi, because many times people may think Nairobi is self-sufficient and can do everything without support from the national government. But he took the initiative, Madam Speaker, to come and check the situation in Nairobi, especially in schools. And he took a tour of Nairobi with us, members of parliament from Nairobi. And after that, Madam Speaker, he committed to help expand the education sector in Nairobi. And through the NGCDF and then his own personal initiative, Madam Speaker, he committed and gave more than 2.2 billion shillings, Madam Speaker, for the construction of classrooms and improvement of infrastructure in schools. He even offered to pay school fees for over 200 students in a school, in one of the schools within Nairobi, Madam Speaker. And I can confirm that, Madam Speaker, the things that the President committed when we went on the tour, and he said within 3 months, within 3 or 4 months, they'll be up, Madam Speaker, the infrastructure that he committed even with his own personal initiative, Madam Speaker, are almost done. And I know that many other things that the President has undertaken, Madam Speaker, especially in the infrastructure. He has promised to build a dual carriage from Lironi to all the way to Malaba, and I know it will be done, and many other things, and especially overhauling the health sector, Madam Speaker. It's a risk that many leaders, I think, will fear to undertake, but he did it. He has done it, and I'm very sure that Kenyans, those who have been attacking him, they should wait for the results. You know, when you're undertaking something new, you don't get the results immediately. And I know within time, these results will come out and people will see that he meant well for this country. He has done in the education sector, he has done in the health sector, he has done it in agriculture, and we can see now the farmers are reaping the initiative that the President made, Madam Speaker. And this is not just about talking. His talking is actually one of the leaders that is hands-on. He does things, and if you ask President Ruto anything, he will provide you with an answer. Not because he will ask somebody, but he will provide you with an answer because he knows what is going on in the government, Madam Speaker. We know very well that we have been around for 60 years, and if our earlier leaders took the kind of steps that the President has taken, Madam Speaker, I'm sure this country will be a developed country. And I believe him when he says he's going to move Kenya from a third world country to a first world country, because the initiatives he has put in place and his determination, Madam Speaker, he will change this country and put it where he has committed to take it. And I'm very sure, Madam Speaker, Kenyans will appreciate that. Let us give the President support. Let us remain with him. And also the people, especially sitting in the government, the cabinet secretaries and others, senior officials, they should highlight the achievement that the government has achieved so far. Because some of these things, that's why some people are accusing the President of lying or doing this, because they don't know what is going on. The information should be out there in the public domain so that people know what has been done by the government since the President took over power from President Uhuru. Madam Speaker, I know and I believe that this country is going to be a first world country, maybe not within the time of President Ruto.
Thank you, the Honorable Abdul Haro, member for Mandera South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, my contribution on the State of the Nation address by the President. The President promised to tell us a story, and indeed, he told us a compelling story of the progress this country has done in the last 3 years, a compelling story of where we stand now as a nation, and a compelling story giving us a snippet of what the future roadmap looks like. Perhaps the drafters of the Constitution were a bit economical when they were giving the President that speech, because they gave very scanty story from the hot, dusty, and fragile northern Kenya. Perhaps they should have given more stories from that part of the world, because the President has really done a lot in northern Kenya, like he has done for the rest of the country. For example, there is a road, the Great Northern Highway Road from Isiolo, that passes through Modogashe, Wajir, Elwak, and Mandera, which has formed a ringtone in TikTok and other social media platforms. That road is actually a 750-kilometer road, which is funded by World Bank and $750 million US, which is currently the largest road infrastructure project funded by World Bank in the sub-Saharan Africa. I thought that road should have, the story on that road should have featured very well in the State of the Nation address. Honorable Speaker, the President reassured the country about the question around food security, how the food security has been enhanced, the question around farmer income, because this is an agricultural country, and also about how the Kenya exports from agriculture has been enhanced. The President actually mentioned about the progress we have done in the tea industry, the coffee industry, the edible oils industry. He mentioned about the cotton production, coconut production. And for the first time, or rather, apart from last State of the Nation address, in this address, the President featured the question of livestock, which is actually a backbone of for the people from northern Kenya, which actually forms 85% of this country. The President told us actually the livestock value chain, where leather exports have increased by 56%, now standing at 2.5 billion per year. Leather shoe production locally has risen to about 11 million pair of shoes produced every year. The President has talked about our beef production and value now standing at 12.9 billion. And of course, the dairy has doubled. The dairy production has doubled because of various interventions by government and now stands at 9.4 billion. Honorable Speaker, The other thing the president mentioned in terms of agriculture and the future is the question of food production agenda through expanded modern agriculture through irrigation. And the president mentioned very clearly that we will not allow the clouds to determine whether our people eat or do not eat. And with that, I think he mentioned that the government is planning to do 5 mega dams for irrigation, particularly in Asals. And one of the dams I'm happy to mention is in my county, which is the Malkamari Dam. And then the other dams, like for example, the Basilinga Dam in Isiolo was also mentioned, and the Sigli Dam in Garissa, the other dam in Machakos was mentioned, Yatta, that is Yatta Dam. The other dam in Narok was mentioned, and the other dam in Elgeyo Marakwet was also mentioned. I think if those dams are done, the food production question would be a big thing. Because I can see the light is on, Honorable Speaker, the other thing that I thought the President should have mentioned, which as the country is doing very well, but it's not mentioned, is the question of insecurity, particularly in northern Kenya and our borders. We have a lot of peace now. We have very little ethnic conflicts going on, and our borders are safer today. And I thought the President should have mentioned that to the country so that we all know the progress that have been made and the achievement that has been made in that area. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Rahim Dawood, member for North Imenti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, first I wish to congratulate His Excellency the President, William Ruto. What he said last week was very, very up to speed. Madam Speaker, and I even appreciate Honorable Mbui, today he has admitted that the President is an excellent leader. I was even surprised it coming out from Honorable Mbui saying that, and hopefully he'll come to our side in the near future. Madam Speaker, as a country under President Ruto, our forex reserves are at an all-time high of 12 billion US dollars. Madam Speaker, we are only supposed to have a maximum of 4 months cover, but we have exceeded the 4 months cover, and it has never been as high as it is now. Madam Speaker, Standard & Poor's is a rating agency which, when we borrow money, have classified Kenya, have moved Kenya from B- to B. Madam Speaker, that is because we have not defaulted on any funds we have borrowed. And that is a very plus point for our president, because his administration has managed in many, many years to raise the profile of Kenya as a good borrower. And when the infrastructure fund, the funding which was there before the Eurobonds, and we should note that it is not the government of William Ruto which borrowed all those funds, the Eurobond funds and all that. It was the previous administration. It is just a case that we are now paying over $1 trillion shillings in borrowing costs with interest and paying the principal. So we are laden with a lot of debts from the previous administration. And when one of our colleagues said we are borrowing, we have borrowed so much money, but how do you expect to pay what was borrowed earlier if we do not borrow and pay our debts? Madam Speaker, the presidents in this regime, we have got fertilizer, the subsidized fertilizer. Madam Speaker, the subsidized fertilizer has gone a long way to improve the agricultural capacity of this country. And with that, we have now raised the output in maize and other products as well. We have got the tea, like from my constituency, and coffee. The prices have gone more than, I think it's more than 50%. The prices have gone up in tea and the bonuses, together with coffee as well. So, Madam Speaker, our president has dared to dream. He did not have to do many of the things which others failed to do because they were scared of the consequences. Our president has dared to dream, and he's trying to make things work for this country so that we can move from where we are. I would not want to call us a third world country. I would want to call us a developing country, and we want to now go to the developed nations. We should be in those categories, because when we say third world, we are just being right at the bottom, and which we should not. I think we should be above that. Madam Speaker, the other thing which this regime has done has employed 76,000 teachers. That is more than the teachers which have been employed by previous regimes. And Madam Speaker, let the pessimists give us would they want to do with all the things which the president has done, because it's no use just criticizing President Ruto and not giving alternatives. Let them give us alternatives of how we are going to revive the economy, because the economy, the way it is going, it is being revived, and we are going to be amongst the best in Africa. And I hope in a few years, by the time we finish with President Ruto in 2032, we will be amongst the developed nations of the world. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support.
The Honorable Lisa Chelule, member for Nakuru County.
Asante sana our speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi pia nichangie taarifa ya president wetu ambaye alituletea taarifa yake wiki iliyopita, na ni taarifa ambaye ilifurahisha wananchi wote wa Kenya kulingana na kazi ambayo amefanya kwa wakati fupi sana. Nasema hivi, Mheshimiwa Speaker, yale mambo yote, taarifa yote ambaye alitupatia ni kazi ambaye amefanya kwa wakati fupi sana kulingana na vile wakati yake ambaye ameketi kwa ofisi. Ukijaribu kuangalia kwa umakini, Mheshimiwa Speaker, ile kazi yote amefanya ni kazi ambaye ilifanywa na wale president ambaye walituongoza wakati hiyo iliyopita. Ni kazi ambaye hawakufanya hata kwa miaka 20 wakiwa kwa ofisi. Kwa hivyo nachukua hii nafasi kwa niaba ya wananchi wa Nakuru kupongeza rais kufikisha taarifa yake katika bunge, na si taarifa peke yake ya kuongea, lakini ni yale mambo ambaye ametekeleza. Nataka kusema tunamshukuru sababu alichukua nafasi na akaonelea kwamba kuna watoto wetu wengi ambaye wamehitimu katika masomo ya ualimu, na alichukua nafasi ya kuhakikisha kwamba wengi ya hao walimu wamepatiwa nafasi kuandikwa kwa serikali, wawekwe kwa kazi, na si kwa kandarasi, ni kuandika wafanyikazi kwa njia ya permanent and pensionable, na tunafurahi sana kama watenda kazi katika serikali yake. Ningependa tu kuchukua hii nafasi niambie wananchi wa Kenya kwamba president amefanya kazi, yeye mwenyewe hajaficha, amekuja na ametangaza. Pengine ile shida tuko naye ni wale wanatangaza, wale wanahitajika kupasha habari kwa wananchi pale nyumbani. Mimi nikiwa moja ya wakulima, tunafurahi sana wakati aliposukisha bei ya fertilizer kutoka 7,500 kwenda 2,500. Ilitusaidia sana kama wakulima, ilisaidia wakulima wetu wote, na kwa saa hii Mheshimiwa Speaker, hakuna mtu ambaye anasema ako na shida ya njaa katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Pengine ni yule tu hajapenda kupanda, hajapenda kwenda kwa shamba. Kwa hivyo napongeza rais sababu hiyo ilikuwa njia moja ya kumaliza mambo ya njaa katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Sababu watu wakiwa na njaa hata wana amani. Kwa hivyo siku hii tunapoongea kuhusu taarifa yake, ninajua kila mtu wako na amani sababu wako na chakula ya kutosha. Nataka kusema mambo ya amani katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kama kuna president ama kama kuna kiongozi ya nchi ambaye ameunganisha Kenya mzima kwa wakati yake ya uongozi, wakati alipokuwa naibu wa rais, aliunganisha nchi yetu ya Kenya. Wakati huu akiwa rais wetu, tunashukuru Mungu sababu alimpatia nafasi, ameunganisha nchi yote. Hajawahi fika wakati anasema sehemu hii atinisi kupata kura, sehemu ile nilipata, lakini ameunganisha Kenya. Kwa hivyo mimi nikiwa mpenda amani katika nchi yetu Kenya, nataka kuchukua hii nafasi niseme heko rais yetu. Wewe umetuunganisha, wewe umeleta amani, wewe umekuwa uso ya nchi yetu ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Speaker, nataka kuongea juu ya vile amekuwa na hacha sana kuhakikisha tumepanda miti ambaye tulikuwa tumepoteza uso yetu ya mambo ya miti, na amepanga kwamba katika wakati yake ya uongozi atahakikisha amepanda miti milioni 30 ama milioni 30. Na kwa wakati huo amesema atafanya hiyo kazi katika wakati fulani. Ako na mpango ya kuboresha nchi yetu ya Kenya. Akisema kweli anataka kuhakikisha kwamba badala ya kununua vitu kutoka nje, sisi tutakuwa tukiuza vitu zetu, bidhaa zetu, kama ni products ama kama ni mambo ya chakula, hatuwezi tena kutegemea yale chakula ambayo inatoka nje. Akisema hivyo kama kiongozi yetu, ningependa kuomba wananchi wa Kenya tusimame na yeye kwa maombi, tusimame na yeye kwa kazi. Wale watu ambaye wanategemea mambo ya ukulima waende kwa shamba. Nataka kusema wameboresha sekta zote katika agriculture. Ameboresha mambo ya maziwa, ameboresha wakulima wa chai na ya kahawa. Bei imeboreshwa. Hiyo ndio inafurahisha mkulima. Na ninapoongea juu ya mkulima, naongea wale watu ambaye wako wengi katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Ni wachache sana wale watu wako kwa ofisi. Wacha niongee tu juu ya wakulima, sababu hawa wakulima ni wengi sana katika idadi yetu ya nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo nataka...
Asante. Mheshimiwa Catherine Omanyo, ulizungumzia swala hili jana, kwa hivyo utaweza kuzungumza tena. Nitaenda moja kwa moja kwa mbunge wa Lafey ambaye ni Mheshimiwa Mohamed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise to contribute to the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. Madam Speaker, I want to go on record by thanking the Kenyans who have elected His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, because the President address was one of the best address ever delivered to the Kenyans, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the President went ahead and unite Kenyans and give us a broad-based government, a government that is really delivering to Kenyans. Madam Speaker, His Excellency took a bold decision. If you see the issue of housing, today, if you go through all the constituencies in this country, Madam Speaker, you will find a housing project going on. This housing issue is not only giving a decent house to Kenyans, but it is also a job creation to Kenyans. If you don't find a housing, you will find a modern market or ESP market, electricity, roads, and all if you go, as I have said, Madam Speaker, if you don't find my constituency today a housing project, you will find an ESP market, you will find a road being constructed. So that is the kind of the promises he made His Excellency during his campaign, and he has really delivered to the Kenyans, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, many Kenyans are debating today by telling Kenyans that the data given by His Excellency the President, which data is correct, the one of the President and the one of the KNPS, at least we are in a place that at least we have made a progress, that Kenyans are making now debate of the progress made by His Excellency the President. Madam Speaker, I come from a region that has been a region that for so long has been denied the issue of ID. We have been discriminated. But I want to thank to His Excellency the President. He has made a bold decision and said Kenyans are one. There is no region A, region B. Now we are enjoying the fruits that the other Kenyans, the other regions are enjoying, courtesy of His Excellency the President, and I want to thank His Excellency the President. That is why, if you see a single project being taken to Northern Eastern, today Kenyans are making funny about that. If you remember, Madam Speaker, on February when His Excellency the President visited that region, the Northeastern region, he has announced to the Kenyans and the region and the Northeastern region that starting from Siolo to Mandera, he will make sure before his term ends, he will tarmac that road. Immediately the Kenyans took fun because they never believed that this will happen. If you see the issue of teachers' employment, the region that I come from, Madam Speaker, before was a region that has been, other Kenyans were being employed there. They create an insecurity issues. They will be recalled, the teachers, so we have been suffering. So we thank to His Excellency the President today, this decision that he has taken of teachers' employment, we are benefiting it. The issue of securitization, despite Kenyans despite the Kenyans criticizing this issue of securitization, Madam Speaker, but it is really working because the contractors are now back to the roads because of that securitization. Madam Speaker, with the issue of SHA, the members of...
Thank you. The Honorable Mary Emase, member for Teso South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this motion. From the onset, I also join my colleagues in thanking the President for a great speech on the address of the status of the nation. Madam Speaker, I was watching the address, the President addressing the nation in Washington, in New York, and I was like, wow, what a great speech. That is my President. Honorable Speaker, when I want to tell Kenyans is that when the President says he wants to put Kenya to its rightful place on the map of the world on matters development, he doesn't only mean it, but he's walking the talk, as I will demonstrate shortly. Honorable Speaker, I have listened to some of my colleagues, the doubting Thomases, trying to actually demean and downplay the speech of the President on the national address. And I want to say, it probably is for reasons known to themselves, probably it's because of where they are coming from. But for some of us who are coming from regions which have never seen development, and have seen development today, we have tarmac roads being done in Teso South, in Busia County. We are seeing huge water projects. We are seeing institutions. Teso South did not have a single college or university or institution of learning. Today, we are proud that we are also part of Kenya. I want to say, Hongera Rais. Honorable Speaker, from my little knowledge in finance and economics, I know that for you to grow a nation, you must look at human capital. I'm talking about education and skills of your people. You must look at physical capital. That is the infrastructure, which includes the roads and technology. You must leverage on your natural resources. You must have a stable political environment. And we see the President being a symbol of unity, preaching for unity, trying to unite the whole country, and in his speech saying every part of this country must get development. Honorable Speaker, you must support and boost entrepreneurs. We're seeing it being done, and the President articulated it in his speech, supporting entrepreneurs through the Nyota program, the Hustler Fund, and so many other interventions. And Madam Speaker, you must support trade, provide policy, legislation that encourages investors to come to the country and for trade to thrive. And I want to demonstrate how the President is working that, Honorable Madam Speaker. And allow me look at this from the perspective of the 5 key pillars of the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto.
Honorable Speaker, when you look at human capital and people investment, because you can't take the country. I want to show Kenyans how the president is not just talking, but he wants to take Kenya to where he's saying through action, through effort, which is demonstrated, which is factored in the budgets and all other interventions. When we say education, there is a lot going on, massive investments in education, in science.